Plan on you trying to.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ERA Podcast, Episode 3. I am joined today by Jonathan Christopher and James Panko. What is up, boys?
Bark, bark.
Shut up. Been a busy week here in the ERA this week. We had our race at Richmond for the K&N series. And we also had a little bit of some signings, and we are, as of this recording time, about 40 minutes away from the Daytona 24, which I guess we can start off that first. As we mentioned last week, Jonathan Christopher is running a team for ERA with John Diekman, Jesse Kaplan, and Jonathan Wall. And did you guys get Toby Weatherford?
Yeah, Toby's driving.
Okay, so all you guys are driving in the 24.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Looking forward to it. Like I said, I guess in about 40 minutes, I think the practice room opens up. Jesse, I believe, is gonna start us off. Run a couple.
Dear Jesus.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. He may go 2 for 2. Yeah, he's gonna start us off. Then Wall. I think I'm gonna jump in the car around midnight. I'm gonna be the third guy. We're doing 2 stints apiece for the first cycle through, and when it comes back around to Jesse again, I think we're gonna start triple stinting person to a little bit more on track time as opposed to wasting time drivers. Give some people some time to take a nap and sleep.
Yeah, so people,
looking forward.
Right, so to people that don't know what that is, because I know that's a very foreign thing, can you explain short term what the Daytona 24 actually is?
It's endurance. It's an endurance race. 24 hours straight, everybody in the exact same car. So if the first guy out wrecks it and you're done, well, you're done. Fortunately, so you gotta have faith in the teammates that you select and practice all week and make sure everybody's good to go, which is what we've been doing. Had like 2 or 3 practices this kind of fine tune on the setup. But yeah, it's 24 hours. It's an endurance race. So first guy will go out and run. We're going to do 2 stints, which means we're not going to change any tires. Just fill up full of gas and double stint each tire. Then when you come back in for the second time around to pit for gas, you have the option to get out of the car, and however you have your driver lined up, next person just flex to get into the car, just like you would from the garage to pit lane and other test session or practice or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you take off from there.
Right, and that sounds fun. So, what? I know you guys would love to win, but ideally, say you can't win, where would you be happy with finishing in the Daytona 24 in your sport?
I mean, in our particular class, if I could, if we finish in top 10, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I don't know who all's going to be in our split, so who knows? I know last year we were running in third. Whenever
until Jesse ruined that.
Well, and whenever our car met its demise, I should say. But yeah, I think we were running in third. We were 13 hours in when that happened. So I hope we don't wreck 13 hours in and waste half the freaking race. But
yeah, I think that was Jesse's first stint, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, it may or may not have been. I'm not gonna throw current teammates under the bus, but
oh, you roll that some bitch.
You run them over and back it up.
Yeah, well, yeah. Jesse Kaplan fucked us. So, but yeah, it's fun. I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How many of these Sorry. How
Go
many
ahead.
of these do you usually do a year?
Well, iRacing has like, I mean, you have the 24-hour at Daytona, you have the 6-hour at Glen, you have the 6-hour at Spa, I believe.
Yeah,
I can't remember if it's 6 or 12.
I think it's 12.
I believe they do another 6 or 12-hour at Road Atlanta. I mean, there's, it's the big marquee races that IMSA runs that, whether it be IMSA and WEC series.
I guarantee all the people that actually do run IMSA, like in the official lobbies, are probably going to be happy once this is over. So all the other people that normally don't run any of that stuff leaves.
Oh, for sure. It's like all the people that show up to run the Daytona 500.
Oh God, yeah, don't even get started on that. But
Yeah, it's the same thing.
other news that came out recently, Nick Boyd Esports or Boyd Esports has officially signed Brendan Parker to a contract to drive the 48 for the K&N series. So don't know much about Brendan Parker. I believe he either got wrecked or he got a top 10 in the K&N series. As I'm trying to bring up the race results right now, so I can get a better gauge. He actually finished 10th. In I believe his first race here in the preseason. Pretty decent outing. So I guess that
Daytona?
was no, this was at Richmond, the one you didn't
Richmond.
show up for.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But yep, he got picked up, and my team, Longshot Motorsports, officially picked up Jonathan Eason, who I believe finished top 5 in the Cup Series points last season. So he's going to be aboard the Cup Series team and the Xfinity team. And a 1-year deal with a option to pick up a second year in the contract. So that was the big signings. I guess we can get to the meat of everything right now. We did Richmond in the preseason at Tuesday, and boy, it was for me and Panko. I know we can both attest. It was a tale of two races.
That's putting it mildly.
It was. We had 6 cautions in the race in a 100-lap race. 25 cars showed up, which is awesome. I can honestly say out of the 35 that has signed up, 34 has actually taken to the track, which is awesome. And so thank you guys for that. It was caution after caution in the beginning. I know. I don't know what it was. We was having Nick made the setup. Guys were, I mean, they were trying to get all they could that first lap. It was strange, and then restarts were starting to get jumbled up, and it was bad. And then I believe around lap 40, we went to a single file restart, and we started getting long runs, and
I think the reason for that is everyone on the bottom inside lane starting off was just having a hard time getting the turn in turn 1.
yeah, and you know what? That's a lot to do with the the new Gen 7 tire. I know we talked about it on a recent episode, but like that Gen 7 tire is like it's getting a lot of people because so many people like it. I don't know, it's been out for a little bit, but so many people are so used to just getting in the car and going and not having to deal with the tires. Like they get in and go and the tires are already heated up and they can done run their fast laps and all that stuff, and now it's different. Now we have to build up that tire and build up that heat, and then we get to run our good laps and stuff. And it's really the guys that can save tires have really been able to benefit from it. But yeah, like you nailed it, James. I think it was a lot of people, getting spun at the bottom, and there's, again, like I've stressed, this is a learning league, so there's a lot of guys that are learning that aren't so great. I mean, I think we had a few crash like 3 times.
Yeah, then you have idiots trying to dive the corner.
Yep. Trying to make it 3 wide.
It was
which
too
never works
boring.
anywhere.
Yeah, it just depends. Depends on what point in the race you're trying to do it, but at that time it wasn't. But anyway, I guess we can go through it. Ronnie Head picks up the victory. He's guys look strong like the first two races of the preseason. I know me and him had that battle to the line where I beat him, but he backed it up with a second place finish or first place finish. Started second, led 53 laps out of the 100, so he led a good chunk of the event. Rusty Capel got on the pole and led about 36 laps and had a really strong showing for himself. And here's somebody that I don't even think we really talked about, or maybe we did in our predictions episode, guys, but Tyler Davis pulled out a third place after starting 8th. Colt Cecil, who did not run Daytona, but he showed up, started 19th, finished 4th, as me and him was right with each other going through the field at one point, and
oh boy, he was making it interesting in the back.
yeah, he pretty much lost his cool with the restarts, but I think he composed himself, and I mean he was making some good passes. He was racing really hard, and I mean he did not want to see that caution come out, that one of them last ones, because he was coming.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he was at I think he was in 8th, and I think I was in 9th because I was following him the entire way. But he had a strong showing. Sean McDonald, who started dead last and finished 5th. So two guys started in the back, wound up with top 5s, and they didn't really lead any laps. So they had a nice strong outing. Joe Rogue, who we talked about, had a strong run at Daytona. I believe he finished 6th at Daytona. I also finished 6th here. So Joel's having a good preseason, and Ryan Sherrow had a finished 7th. Interesting one. 8th place, Nick Boyd. Is it safe to assume that the horseshoe is gone?
Too early to tell. Too early.
I mean, he kind of.
I sure hope so.
he kind of got in a wreck there late at Daytona. Then he took 2 tires, which
I'll say he messed up by taking 2 tires.
Yeah, and
on the other hand,
yeah, I took none. I didn't fare out so well, and I ran out of gas with 2 to go and finished very, very far back there. But yeah, so Nick Boyd, I believe he led 7 laps. I think I think that's when he passed me and wound up spinning it. So he settled for an 8th place finish. Started 4th. Jim Courtney, a guy who's normally starting up front, finished 9th. Nice top 10. Didn't lead a lap or anything. And, yeah, like we said, 10th place, Brendan Parker. Strong showing for him in his preseason debut. So I guess we'll start with James. James, you were there. You finished 12th. So how was it for you?
Well, I picked a very good race to go back to VR headset, not. As you can attest to that, Brian.
Yeah.
As soon as we got everyone straightened out, running the top line where they needed to get in the turn 1, it started becoming fun. I did not want to see that last caution coming out because I was picking up and dropping passes on the track.
Yeah, you and me both.
I mean, I got involved in a caution, had to get it back, make a pit stop, and I was working my way back up front. But all in all, it was a good race once everyone settled down.
Yeah, I believe from the vote, because I think I actually am gonna 100% start doing this. Is I put up a race vote for the rating of the race, I guess you can call it, which is we did a star. I did a star system as I scrambled through to find them. I had them up there pretty. I had them. Okay, there they are. Right, so as we looked, we had, looks like 10, about 16 votes, so about everybody but about 10 people voted. That was actually in the race. It was actually voted as a 3-star race, which I can pretty much go with that. It was very even. I mean, again, like I said, tale of two races. A lot of cautions, a lot of wrecking, a little frustration, but then I don't know, something clicked midway through, and we started getting some runs, and it wound up not being so bad.
It was when we went single file, and no one had to worry about someone on the bottom of the track.
Yeah, which is a tool for discussion. I know Nick posted some things in the route page that I guess I can maybe read a little bit for
Yeah, he's talking about us in our 2 to 3 tenths behind each other.
Yeah, he actually had pictures, and he's just talking, and he did say it's
It was
not an
a good
ERA
post,
problem.
yes.
Yeah, which he did confirm it with me beforehand. I'm like, that is completely fine. It's whatever.
I like how in his post he brought up the that should be a
Go ahead.
nobody should even have to ask anybody whether or not their relative is on that. That is exactly how you tell exactly how far in front or behind the guy.
Yeah, and the only the only reason he put it like that is because there is guys that are literally brand new to the sim, and there is actually a few that has rookie license that may not know what a relative is.
I understand.
And that's kind of why he put it, is like, this is your relative.
That's your best friend.
Yeah, it really is. Like, I don't use anything else.
No.
If for people or anybody from the league that's listening, I use sim racing apps for a lot of my like standings and like track maps and all that stuff. Like, I have a separate computer that runs off my other TV, and all it's there for is standings, track maps. Sometimes I'll put the admin controls on there, or I'll put my fuel gauge if it's a track that I know fuel's going to be a factor, which I didn't think. Maybe I should have put that on during the race. But I mean, it's pretty good. It's worth a read for you guys that are in the league that haven't read it yet. But yeah, I mean, restarts are everything. I know I know there's people in the back that want to kind of take it easy, and sometimes you can do it because like there's other guys in the back that are just trying to log laps. They're not really trying to be competitive or win the race. They just want to survive and get some track time around other people, maybe learn from some of the more advanced members. But sometimes we have those instances where guys that are actually trying to win the race, or they are fast, kind of get back there, and then it kind of gets them on their toes. And I eventually will address it to some people in question, but yelling during the race about it, like actually physically yelling about it, kind of needs to not be a thing, because guys aren't going to respond to you well if you're screaming. So hopefully we don't get that again. Like
Mommy, Daddy, don't fight.
Well, it's learning. You're there to learn. It's fine. I mean, I will maybe somewhat release something. We are looking at maybe doing a more advanced version of the K&N series for guys that actually want to compete and want to actually get serious about K&N. So,
well, I would hope that everybody that's currently in it,
you know what I mean, like the fast people that actually, are there to compete, and you know how it is with guys that are learning and guys that are fast.
I understand, but that's exactly how the guys that are learning get fast.
Yes, which we might get to that on down the line. That'll be a future episode, but yeah. So pretty much that was a great post, and we're on to Atlanta, which legend has it that Ronnie Head is still practicing in Atlanta as we speak. Don't know if that's any truth, but
wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. So I guess some other ERA news that I actually dropped was I wish he was on here for it, because I'd really love to talk about how that came about. But I, for the first time ever, decided to bring prizes into the league. People that know me know that I'm not about prizes or paying people or all this stuff. I'm not about that life, but if you are, that's cool. But I decided for prizes, and the Cup and Xfinity are getting the big bulk of the prizes because they are going to be our bread and butter series. As K&N is, like I said, you're paid in experience. First prize for the Cup and Xfinity champion. They will get a trophy. I believe we are looking at the $40 one. Like Ronnie had bought. Ronnie actually bought a trophy. I will actually show you guys a picture in the group later. Cody Tabor is going to make you a custom hero card, which hero cards are like the little card with like your car on it, done up. I believe he's going to Photoshop it all together. Maybe get a driver signature or whatever for you of yourself, something cool. And Ronnie Head will be making you a custom-made ERA Championship T-shirt, which is pretty cool. So second place in the Xfinity series or Xfinity and Cup will be getting a Champions T-shirt or runner-up T-shirt from Ronnie. I don't know what it's gonna say on it. Me and Ronnie's like in the point of doing mock-ups of it of these T-shirts, so it's still.
It's gonna say so close.
Or you could do the old no fear shirts. Second place is the first loser.
Oh, that might be great. I mean, me and Ronnie might come up with some good ideas, but yeah, second place T-shirt plus you're also going to.
At least that wasn't last.
Yeah. And also, Nick Boyd is actually going to make you a free paint scheme, which he don't care to do paint schemes, but I figured it'd be a cool prize. At least there's a thing here that every prize at least is something maybe you can use or something you can keep as a keepsake, like with the trophies and a T-shirt. How many leagues really give you prizes like that you can actually keep? And not just money that for. Yeah, and not just money that you'll just spend in 2 seconds and probably getting something for iRacing at this point. But then again, third place I believe is just getting a free paint scheme from Nick Boyd. So first, second, third is getting the prizes. And K&N, I talked to Frank about this a while back, and Frank, as some of you know, is an artist, and he's done drawings for books. Actually, got I wish I had the name of the book.
Got like 2.
Yeah, he has a couple, but I know one was about First Day of School's the Dinosaur. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name, Frank. Wish you were here, damn it. But anyway, and we all recently know that he had a loss with his wife, and I wanted to come up with a cool way to, an homage to him and to keep his wife's memory going, because like I always say, Frank is the embodiment of ERA, and I really feel that way because he's for everything that we're trying to do here. Is he's going to we're calling it at this point in time we're calling it the Pam Dawson Memorial Trophy. It goes to the K&N champion, and Frank is going to custom draw you a picture, which he actually did one for Jonathan Wall, which looked really nice. As soon as I get permission, we might show it, or Jay Wall might, but it's going to be a commemorative championship like drawing that for you. So
and if you're not friends with him on Facebook, I suggest that you add him as a friend.
Yes,
he is a bad motherfucker when it comes to drawing. You know what I meant.
Yeah,
he's a badass artist.
Yes, he is. So we got that, and then the other news. I guess we can wrap it up or just get into somewhat of a discussion about what this would mean to the ERA. But the Cup Series has been in negotiations with the owner of Sim 2 Serious Racing League, which is a league that has some sponsorship, has some backing, has some broadcasting to it, and there is negotiations are they're getting there, but this would send some of their drivers over to our league to get our league a little bit more cup drivers. Still going to be open setup, still going to run our schedule. It would be named Sim to Serious ERA Pro Series, I believe is what he wanted to name it. And at that point, we're in negotiations, so that's probably may happen within the coming weeks if we agree to a deal. So, big things on the horizon.
Need more information.
Yeah, so it's sketchy at the moment. I know we was having a talk about the scheduling, and we had we're trying to work out the kinks on a race time. I know right now, cup wise, like I said, they wanted to open the rooms at 7:30 and get them green flag by 8:30, which is cool. 30 minutes pushed up, that's fine for me. I know that's why I posted it to the cup guys to see if anybody was gonna have a crippling issue. And so far so good. I believe he would probably throw in some prize money. I believe he was talking about maybe throwing prize money to the league, to the the owners championship or whatever. We really I haven't discussed really any of that. I haven't tried to get into the meat and potatoes because I don't know. I'm not a money guy. I don't like really talking money prizes. So
I don't know. I think that could attract the wrong type of people.
it can. I agree. But I don't know. We'll see. It's all a hearing out process, and he's done some pretty nice things. If not, I will probably try to help him best I can. And do we have anything else that I can think of right now?
Well, real quick, I don't want to like harsh on or anything. Merger or partnership. I mean,
You gotta speak up. You're
oh, sorry. A merger or a partnership. I mean, that's cool and all. I just don't let it distract. Don't let it take anything away from what ERA has already accomplished.
yes.
I mean, if you have to subtract ERA benefit, I'm out. If I'm just being honest.
I know. It's gonna be touchy, and that's where we're at right now because it's basically two guys with the same idea, but it's trying to mold it into one idea.
I mean, I'm all for compromise and all, but as long as it, because at this point we don't need cash. We don't need we don't necessarily need prizes. I mean, I'm all for what you were talking about a while ago for crowning champions and
yeah.
doing the draw, the picture with Frank and everything like that. That is perfectly fine because none of our members are having to pay in.
No.
I think, like you said, the cash is going to bring the wrong type of competition to us. It'll make people more aggressive and more
that's
irritable.
And that's what I don't want to happen.
Yeah, I know. I get it. That is a thing. I mean, you're right. iRacing. I've been on the sim long enough to know that iRacing. Once you throw money at people, it kind of gets crazy. I mean, I don't know if you guys. I wish I had the thing here, but there was actually a guy that I believe it just happened maybe a few weeks back. I believe he did a chili bowl like event with payments and everything. It was supposed to be guys got payouts and big name people like peak drivers and everything came and did this. And apparently it was about $1,000 in payoffs, and yeah, he took the money and ran. So
there's enough leagues out there that do cash payments and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I'm not on here to win money. I'm on here to race people, have fun, camaraderie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just
This is
it's
my
a nice
relief.
escape. I don't need the stress of I hope I don't get wrecked tonight because I'm gonna be out $20.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, that's something, like I said, we're in the process of negotiating about, because I'm trying to protect the guys, and
Yeah.
you
I mean,
know,
as long as at the end of the day ERA stays
yeah,
like
the
it
ERA,
is. I don't want it to lose its principle. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
It's integrity.
Yeah, integrity. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you, James.
yeah, no, that's fine. Oh, I believe Chops, you had us some stuff about Eric Jones testing out the new Gen 7.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't have a whole lot. I mean, I've only seen what probably most people have seen, but
Yeah.
the excuse me. But what struck me the most was the in-car footage of him running a sequential shifter, and within that video, he gets up to fifth gear. Not just four, but he had 5 gears. I don't know if he's got more or not.
Well, from everything I've read and been reading on, it says they will be going to a sequential 6-gear box system. And the idea is to get more shifting, especially at oval tracks, for more competition.
Yeah. I'm down with that. If as long as the gearing is right, to where regardless of which mile and a half they go to, if they can burp them down a couple gears to keep the momentum up, but well, let me finish that. Then I'm fine with that as long as if if it'll allow them to tighten the car up by downshifting, if the gears will allow it to keep the car bound up so that they can stay in the throttle instead of washing out because at least with the current cars they're so aerodynamic. Um, I think this last season with this last package, I heard more NASCAR drivers talk in the same vein as Formula One drivers, where oh, if I get within 2 seconds of the guy in front of me, I can't catch up because I wash out. That kind of verbiage does not belong in NASCAR. I'm sorry. Um, but um,
Yeah. Speaking of
if
aerodynamics, have you seen how much or how little side force these cars have now?
yeah, well, that's what I was getting at. In that same video, Eric Jones was out of the throttle a lot during the turns, and I don't know if that has to do with because they haven't fine tuned the aero and mechanical grip. But then I read a article today where even Eric Jones and I forget the guy's name who was a part of the team that's developing the new car or whatever. It was like they were both kind of on the same page as far as dialing in more mechanical grip back into the cars, and the sequential shifter that is going to be freaking awesome at a road course race, especially if they give it up if they go all the way up to 6 gear. Um, but when it comes to oval racing, if they can dial more if they're going to leave the aero package the way it is to where, because you saw in that video, Eric Jones, he was stalling the wheel. How long has it been since we really saw a dude? And I know he wasn't up to full speed. It's a test session, but if that's a prelude to things to come, I'm sold.
Yeah, I mean, this car's supposed to take away from, like you said, aero grip, give more mechanical grip with whatever this new rear thing is underneath it.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of a diffuser. Um, I don't know. It I don't feel like NASCAR is a style of racing that consider implementing a diffuser. Um, I think they just need to do away with it and figure out how to make the car work without it. I mean, like perfect example. Later tonight, when we enter the 24, every single one of those cars got a rear diffuser on it. And I know it's supposed to help in rear downforce, but that's kind of the point with NASCAR. We don't need rear downforce. We need every single driver that as soon as he lets off the gas into turn one, as soon as he looks at the gas pedal, the rear end wants to step out. That's what we need. That's how you build side by side racing is making the car so that every time you even think about getting on the gas, it wants to spin out. and then relying on the mechanical grip to dial that rear end back in, not worry about a diffuser sticking out of a stock car to help create downforce for the rear end, you know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see all the rest of the stuff with the Gen 7 car, because I'm sure they're going to be trying out new things, and this is pretty much going to be the last year we're going to have on this this new package, and 2020 season is getting very close, so it'll be really interesting to see what else we get. Also, speaking of updates and new stuff, and in that apparently Texas, ISM, and Kentucky will be getting iRacing updates in the future. That was actually announced a few days ago. So I guess Texas and Phoenix, well, it's Phoenix now, is going to be the big changes, because Phoenix is a completely new layout.
Those Texas.
Yeah.
Well, turn 1 and 2 anyways.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So we got those coming in the future. Kentucky, if I don't even know, I think it's just pretty much the repave. If, as far as I know, because I don't think that one was. I think the one we got now is the bumpy one, not the actual one they just repaved. So
I believe you're correct.
So that's going to be interesting in the world of iRacing, and I believe that shall do it. I believe we've hit everything and got it with under an hour.
Well, one more thing. Do you think we're going to get this new low downforce package that they just talked about?
Forgot about the short track package. I'm so sorry. I don't. When's the first short track race?
Before the season's over.
We might.
I don't see it until next season.
I don't know. iRacing's been pushed by NASCAR to get this stuff up to date now, especially with the whole new NASCAR Peak series. Still calling it Peak until they give it a name.
But can they accurately depict what it's going to do without like actual race footage and race telemetry?
I'm sure they have. I'm sure they can. But they're with NASCAR.
I mean, that's kind of the beauty about iRacing being behind the curve, so to speak, is it leaves at least excuse me, it gives them a chance to get the telemetry off of what the car's really doing in a race, or they make the model, you know.
But I also heard it's going to be similar to the older model, so they might just be able to go through that telemetry.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so there's that. Again, like I said, iRacing's going to be pushing to get a lot more NASCAR-oriented stuff to us, so should be pretty interesting.
Well, speaking of getting stuff quick, in the article I read earlier too, even though it's a concept car for NASCAR right now, but the new, the car that they're testing, each team is supposed to start getting their version of the car in like June, I believe is what it said.
June, July is the time frame.
So, and obviously they're the next test is not till March, and they're going to implement some new things on the next version of the test car, and they're going to use the one that Eric Jones just drove as a secondary car to try to test both cars racing. So I mean, if obviously they're not going to be finalized in the summer, but
what do you? I'm sorry, but what do you think about the chatter from going from V8 to V6?
I mean, as long as the speeds stay the same, does it take them 2 more laps to get up to full song? I'm good. I mean, as long as the speeds stay the same.
Yeah, I think in order to see what this car can really do, I think we need about 8 or 10 cars out there for testing.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think they're going to get a lot of telemetry with 2 cars. I guess if 2 cars are racing by themselves for a win, yeah, okay, I could see that. But I think we need to see what it does in a crowd. I mean, I'm not a fan of the plate package, pretty much, where it's like plate racing almost everywhere. I mean, It's cool. I mean, I get why people like it because it gives a lot of people that aren't really great at iRacing a shot to be close to the leaders, which is why a lot more wrecks happen. But it'll be interesting. I mean, I wish we could just go back to like where it was you could race side by side. If they can make that happen and not have to be wide open in the gas where both guys can be under each other and not almost lose it, then I think it'll be okay.
Take the rear shark wing off, take away the front splitter, and put a front valence back on it. Give me a
We're going
2-inch
back
rear
to the days of
spoiler
IROC racing now.
that curves around the rear end instead of just flat across. Yeah, that's how you create side by side. Oh, and give me 900 horsepower back.
Yeah, I don't think they're ever
know
going to
what
do that
9.
again.
Yeah, well, yeah, especially if NASCAR starts going in the trend of some of the other series that starts running eco-friendly fuel. Yeah, you'll never have another 900 horsepower engine or 850 or whatever it was.
And they're at the point now they could take a V8 out, put a V6 in, still generate the same amount of horsepower and speed.
Possibly. I guess on that note, we will close the show out. Again, I guess I will be attaching tonight's interview on it. I believe it'll be Jerry Scalise on the interview. Some guy with some real world racing experience, and I was trying to look for an ideal person, and he's new to the league, so I really can't wait to actually get the interview with him. So enjoy and see you out there on the track.
See ya.
Alright guys, I know we was going to have a driver interview, but it kind of fell through, so I'm kind of just winging it. I've kind of left this episode on the table for a little bit, so I feel like I want to do something kind of interesting, and since I'll probably never ever be able to interview myself, obviously, I figured I would give this chance for you guys within the ERA to get to know me, the guy who kind of runs the show and kind of makes final decisions in this crazy iRacing community. So here goes. My love for racing came in 1998. Believe it or not, as old as I am, really got into NASCAR around that point. The great points battle between Jeff Gordon and Mark Martin kind of got me, and I'd been a fan for a while, a diehard, until about probably about 2008, 2009ish is when I started getting out of the NASCAR world as much, not watching so much. So now at this point, I'll catch a race here and there. I'm not really as into it as I used to be. But one thing has been constant my entire run is just running leagues, and I used to run the Internet Championship of Auto Racing, ICAR, which got originated the very night that Brian Newman won the Daytona 500 when he was driving for Penske in I believe it was like 08. That we didn't really a bunch of us didn't know what leagues was, and heard guys mention it after running in rooms like, "Oh, we need I gotta go to my league. What's a league?" And like somebody explained it to me. It's like, "Oh, you run the season, you keep track of your own points," and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty neat." And I told a bunch of friends at the time that I was racing with a lot in the 09 community or 08 community at that, because the console community around that point was really tight and everybody knew each other. But so I mentioned the league thing to them, and a bunch of them was like, "Let's do that." And I was like, "Okay." So in one day, we found out what a league was, ran a pole shootout or Daytona shootout, and did a Daytona 500 in like one day. It was my first year was very odd. We didn't even have a schedule. It was basically a bunch of guys, 9 or 10 of us, because at the time I think the max you can get in a room was 12. So literally, guys would just have a 2 days notice. I'd just send a mass message out on Xbox, be like, "Hey, we're racing this track this day," and that's just what we did. I mean, it was kind of fun and some early memories and a lot of give and take there. As we get a drink here. Um, and yeah, it's just I've run leagues all the way up until I want to say 2017, 2000. Oh no, 2018 is when I kind of took my time off. I was getting burned out. I ran iCar for 10 years through NASCAR '08, NASCAR '09, the Inside Line era by Utechnics. Big fuck you to those guys because those guys gave me such a headache running a league. It was every week changing a rule for this, that, and the other, and then a new glitch would come through and kind of screw things up. So, um, at that point, we all had to make a move, and a lot of us did make that move. That was in my console league. Um, I know Jonathan Wall, who you've seen on the show or listened to, liked. He was there. He's won a couple of championships. We had John Deekman, Toby Weatherford, and Ronnie, and a few of those guys. They've been with me through thick and thin. Rusty Capel, if I've not failed to mention. Levi Zielinski, he's been in and out. A lot of those guys have been around. Guys that aren't with us to shout out: Dylan Duvall, Justin Bolton, who the iRacing community knows from the Peak or eNASCAR. They used to run back in my console days. I had a who's who in iCar at that time. But anyway, so yeah, I got burned out. A lot of the guys who was helping me was starting to go to other projects or move away from racing altogether, and it just came to the decision to take a year off. I completely killed iCar because the name had ran its course. That and there was another league that had the iCar's name, and people were getting us crossed with them, and it just wasn't good. Everybody kept thinking we were the short track one, and then I'd get entries, and then people would realize that we weren't that one, and it kind of was a pain in the butt. So basically, what I did was I took a solid year off, and I used that entire time to jump into random league rooms and just watched how everybody else ran their product and how everybody else did their thing, and tried to find what series was popular and why they were popular, and I just came to one thing, and there's the one thing I believe that was really missing, and I really think I've hit the home run as we get into this. There wasn't really any leagues built on learning. Yeah, it's late at night and I'm drinking a little bit. There wasn't leagues built to learn, and anybody who's been in the iRacing community knows there's a lot of dumbasses on the system, and a lot of it is just they don't have anywhere for people to be patient with them and maybe help them out. There's a lot of guys that don't really understand racecraft, which is a Jonathan Wall pet peeve is racecraft. Guys in the ERA league that are in the forums will notice that he mentions that a lot. But there was nothing for people to learn, and I took it upon myself to build something like that. Something for guys that suck. I'm not gonna lie, suck at first, that don't know how to race or just need a place to get their confidence up to come race. And at one point, my goal was to get these guys from rookie license, D license, to eventually getting B, A license, building that I rating up. I always wanted people to go positive from where they got here, and I think for the time being, we have been able to pull that off. And I'm really really happy with the way it went, and I do enjoy the direction it's going. I'm so used to when I ran my leagues to have low car counts and nobody really want to run, or I get those people that were assholes in the league, and I've had some. I know we've made our jabs at a certain bunch of people, and yeah, I mean, there's cases where that happens, or people that you bring into the league, but then you don't want in the league because they are terrible and they're not here to help. So it's just it's different. It's different now. Like, at least for the K&N series, it's weird telling people you're full for me, and all these little subtleties. And I know we've been trying to expand. That's what I was trying to gun for all along. Build. I know we've had guys start from down there to our K&N series and work their way up to doing Cup, and working a little bit with the open setups that we've been doing. Like I call him the embodiment ERA, and I mean, he is Frank Dawson. He's a prime example of what I was trying to do, and the situation really helped guys like him. Like when I seen him on I want to say the drivers forums, just needing help with driving, like at certain tracks, or wanting to know something. I forget, and I remember contacting him and being like, "Hey, I'm trying to build this league. It's a learning league, and I would like you to be a part of it." And there's several guys that I did contact, and some of them just kind of didn't take the offer, but Frank did. And it's funny, we joke about it, but Frank's first league race, I was originally putting these on like a preempted replay video, and this race was so bad that I couldn't put it on there because it was a caution fest, and I was like, I can't do this. This would be bad if I put it out there. Which everybody wrecked on the last lap, like that. I think Frank was like 8th, and he wound up winning, which it's funny. It's great, and from that point on, it's been uphill from there. But like again, that guy was a prime example. He took the tools that we gave him, which we give every driver. There's guys right now in our group that are asking questions. People are Nick Boyd, really big with like giving these long speeches about like what to do in this situation, how to fix field of view some stuff that I don't even know. I never realized any of the FOV stuff. Like, I go back and forth with iRacing, so sometimes I don't grasp on a lot of the stuff myself. But we got him. There's a bunch of us that just are there to help everybody that we can, and I think it's a really good league that I built on just by doing something completely opposite from what the other leagues were doing from like my year of research. And I hope, like, this is my first year that I have 3 leagues running, and they're all running a full-length schedule. This is going to be the first... I scratch that. Probably the first time I know me and Ronnie has done a full schedule, because I know me and Ronnie that first year because he was there night 1 that I first started running leagues. we ran the full schedule and did the chase, and we this is gonna be rough for us, but I think we're gonna have fun, especially with the 36 races, no chase, old school points, completely bare boned. You have the most points at the end of 36 races, you're winning the championship, not no one race, 35 good races and that one bad race and you're done. Yeah, another reason I turned away from NASCAR. But we're getting I'm getting a little off topic here. Sorry. But yeah, that's kind of where I was at with ERA. The future for ERA is I want to put the sport in esport for this league, and I've been looking at some projects. I know I've been experimenting with the team aspect and doing the contracts and stuff like that, and maybe doing the drafts, and I'm looking into that, and it's been discussed about a possible a second K&N series on Tuesdays, a more advanced one to help people grow. That is currently in the works and being discussed if we still keep our abundance of drivers. So that's kind of a peek behind the curtain, a little nugget of information for anybody that actually, does listen to these fully. Yeah, I want to take this time to just share a little bit about, ERA and myself and how we got here, and I'm going to try to get these out a lot better. I know it's been a struggle, like with scheduling, and right now my wife's been working another shift, so it's been like I've been helping out my nephew a lot because my sister has been working the same shift. So at least until February, then it's all back to normal, and I'll probably be able to be on a better schedule recording. So I appreciate it. I guess we'll close out by next week. I'm going to try to get back to the interviews. I know we had one fall through, and hopefully you don't have to hear me ramble on for, some extra time here. But I'm going to try to get some of our guys who won the 24-hour race and from their split, the team ERA, as I guess we can call them, as they won, and by 5 laps, I believe, 3 or 5 laps. So hopefully I can swing that and let that happen, and line up some better interviews and some more cool stuff. So other than the racing, I guess I can cut to what is going to be going on with the iCar Sports Network. So far at the moment, down the pipeline, I have the ERA videos. I'm going to maybe do some like special documentary style videos for the ERA Racing League. And plus, I'm going to get back to doing my WWE Old School Universe videos, as I'm actually in the process of getting some editing done with some more episodes, so I can get that caught up and get a buffer for myself before for that. So if there's anything else that you guys might want to see for the YouTube channel, or anything that I could possibly put together, or any guys that need help putting stuff together, please hit me up. I'm pretty much available 24/7 on Facebook. Just shoot me a message and I'll try to get to you as soon as I can. And yeah, guys, I appreciate everybody who's been listening, who's been enjoying the show, everybody who has been showing up to race, at least for the K&M portion of the preseason so far. February is just around the corner, guys, and I'm really excited to get back on the track and, get these races to start meaning something. And for me personally, I'd like to get me a couple wins. I know last couple seasons in K&N wise, I've shot myself in the foot on a lot of races that I should have won, and I'm going to try to stop that, and hopefully Ronnie doesn't beat me again like he did at Vegas with that really close finish. I mean, I got him in the preseason, but hopefully I can get him in the actual season. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you on the track.